My dad was always housed his whole life, although he was poor, but he always had a roof over his head. And then at one point he ended up just sharing a small apartment with his nephew, my cousin, and Dad would give my cousin his rent money each month, and then the cousin would add it to his own and give it to the landlord. And apparently at some point the cousin stopped handing the money over and started using it for his own bills or whatever he was in debt or something. And my dad didn't realize that. And then one day the landlord just showed up and said, "All right, you guys got a week to be out of here." And so for the next 2 years or so, he was on the streets of downtown Chico. Not really downtown, I guess sort of south of downtown. Kind of right near the Jesus Center, actually, which made it helpful, short walk. Yeah, and so for 2 years he was out there, and it was a tough life, I think. He had some good friends, but he seemed pretty miserable and often drunk all the time, just probably as a way to cope with, being out there. He had some income from Social Security, though no rental history and no credit history. But yeah, Chat got him into one of their houses fairly early on in the program, and man, it saved him. It was a big deal, I was afraid my dad was going to die on the streets, and suddenly he's got a roof and a soft bed and a shower, and I mean, it was a world of difference. And he just, gosh, he had like a second wind,
So here we are in the plaza, the Chico Plaza, and it's interesting that being here and looking around and thinking about the beginning of Chat, that right there, a half a block away, is the Peace Center where we had our very first gathering. And then a couple blocks over was the old Woodstocks where we used to have our meetings before we started doing anything with Chat. And then another block over is Trinity Methodist Church, one of the places we did Safe Space. The way Chat started, and the fact that we started as a rotating shelter, I think was so good for us because it was part of our educational process. We had been talking to, the COC, the Greater Chico Homeless Task Force, the director of the tourist shelter, the director of the Jesus Center. We were really trying to learn all we could, but then we started Safe Space so soon before we were really ready to do anything, just because we had this sense of urgency. And then we started learning from the people themselves that were out there. And I remember being up all night. I think it was at the Unitarian Church and different church, and just listening to people who couldn't sleep, and getting to know them. And some had wives and jobs and regular lives, and some had been runaways because of abuse at home. Everybody, or there'd be people who, while they were doing okay, they had a normal life, the wife got really sick and lost all their money, and then she died, and he felt so lost. And once they lose their home, then it was really hard to ever get. And people that are homeless, a lot of them do resort to they're in despair, so they resort to escapism, alcohol, whatever.
I'd like to say a little bit more about some of the physical limitations of some of the guests. One night, actually over several nights, I realized that of all the people that I was supervising, more than half of them were using either a cane, a walker, a motorized vehicle. More than half of the people who were lined up along that wall had to use auxiliary walking devices, just to give you a feel for the infirmities that they had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, coughing, bronchitis, pneumonia, all these respiratory ailments, as well as people having diabetes, and oh my gosh, so many health issues. And it was like being in a hospital ward sometimes.
Once I went to that meeting with the county about the 10-year plan, my journey always was, in my mind, was housing. Yeah, it wasn't safe space. It was always, for me, that was my mantra. That's why I put together that trip to Oregon and Washington to film all these different public people to find out how they were doing it, to find their practices, and then kind of come back and look for best practices here, because I thought a temporary shelter is something, and we need them. We could use, tent camps. We could use all kinds of things. But the reality is, to really have someone heal, you need to house them. And so that was always, for me, my goal was housing people. It took almost 2 years before we got our first house. September 1st of 2015. The reason we went to the Master Lease program is because we couldn't get anyone to actually see and believe in the concept of tiny homes. So we had a friend that was working for the county, and she had a mother who owned some homes. And she came to us and said, Les, Bob, I think that my mother would be willing to rent you a home. So this was our test home, kind of. We were testing ourselves, we were testing the people, what worked. Do we meet every week? Do we give them freedom? Do we let alcohol in? Do we not let alcohol and drugs in? Pony and Terry, who are over here, if they could step in here and give me a hug. And
Hi.
they were living on the street, actually working, but homeless. And we met them at Woodstock, and we said, okay, guys, you're going to be part of Chat One.
It was the most exciting thing we ever heard when they told us, because we were sleeping outside. We couldn't save money worth the life of us. Our credit was horrible. We just couldn't get a place, And when Chat just came to us out of nowhere, Will actually came to us and said, hey, well, we're starting this thing where we're housing people, And he said, fill out an application and we'll interview you. And we were just so excited, and then we met everybody, and then they said yes, and we were even more excited, and then we were like, when do we move in?
Yeah.
And then they told us the day up, yes, you guys could, it was September 1st, you guys can move in today.
Right then. We were like, okay, let's go.
We went in there was one mattress, we had one suitcase, one backpack, and we were the happiest people alive at the time. We had a bathroom,
so awesome.
We had a kitchen, you know what I mean? We had everything. Everybody's working full-time, everybody's being productive. Members of society,
How long have you had the same jobs?
I've been there 3.5 years now, and she's been there
4.5, almost 4.5.
And you've been able to purchase vehicles, you've been able to save some money, and I hope in not that too distant future, you'll be able to purchase a home.
That's right.
That's our goal.
Yep, we're definitely saving for that, living comfortably and doing good,
1 year later, almost March 31st of 2016, we got our second house. And then things started to explode, but it took us that long. It took us 9 months to actually get our second home. And it's exciting to see the community behind us. And the more we do, the more support we get, which is really interesting. The more we do, the more people come out to actually help. Another service that Chat provides is someone getting off the street has a community around them, family around them to make it through. And sometimes, in particular, this house where we had someone that was at the last phase of their life. They lived here for quite a while, but then they found out it was the last phase of their life. And people like this one right here and the other people in the house 24/7 took care of this person. They're not leaving this house. We're going to take care of them. And they did until 2 days before his passing. And to me, that's what family is all about.
It's been a very stable house and a family house all along its history. So this is Donald. Yeah.
I went from cloud surfing, ex-wife to girlfriend, tourist shelter. Soon they showed me all type of opportunities on how to get out of the situation that you're in, that you're not used to being in. I just didn't want to burden family members. I could have went to their house, even the ones out here, but I said, no, I got to be able to do myself. I got to be able to put my own stuff up.
See you next time, bro.
Yep, anytime.
All right.
Anytime.
I love you.
Love you too, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys.
There needs to be houses that specifically are for those who suffer homelessness, but also mental illness. And what we need to understand when we're housing people with mental illness, we have to make sure that they're taking their medications on a regular basis. We have to make sure that they know how to shop. We have to make sure so there's household things that we teach them. So it's not just taking people, throwing them in a house, letting them go in a neighborhood. The beautiful thing about Harmony House is that we taught them how to grocery shop. I came over and taught them how to cook, and we made a board in the living room that had weeks on it. And what we would do is we'd plan our meal plan, and then I would take them shopping, and we'd plan the meals, and then we'd have family-style meals. So that way not everybody's arguing over whose food is whose food. These were lost souls, some of them in severe mental illness. But when we started to house them, and we had 4 to start, and then we had 8, they dramatically changed.
I'm Benson. I live in Harmony House. Harmony House was a production of Chat. This is my 4th winter here. I had no place to stay. I was living out on the streets, and I came here. And we're a diverse bunch of people here. There's 8 people living in Harmony House. We're as diverse as you can get. We all have mental health issues, and so it takes a lot to get along. But Chat has provided us with a house manager who helps us do that.
Housing now is specifically for the general non-housed population. Rental houses are everywhere, and to make them work financially is really quite simple. You're renting a bedroom, you're not renting the whole house. And if you put 3 people in a 3-bedroom house, it certainly makes it workable. And then case management, meeting every week with people and just listening to their stories.
CHAT's program is basically looking into helping students who are homeless find housing so that they can continue their education. It's giving them a basis of stability so that they can move up rather than continue stumbling and continue falling. And they can concentrate on their schooling, they can concentrate on finding a job, they can concentrate on getting themselves out of whatever hole that they're in.
To have an oven like that and to be able to cook, I'm just so excited, you know, and I got in the grocery store and I'm like, I'm finding some neck bones or something, and I was on a mission, man. She was.
The Mercy House is a house dedicated to people who have medical conditions or disabilities who would otherwise be living on the street. The Mercy House gives those people a place to live with dignity and health.
The blanket, I have to tell you, it was so warm when I first came here. The blanket, I swear, was almost 20 pounds. I felt like, I'm sure it's not.
Today we're in our new warehouse. This warehouse is amazing for us. It's 3 times the size of the warehouse we were in before, which allows us to make such more impact in this county, not just Chico, but in this county, being able to deliver household goods of every kind, as you can see in here. We have everything the house would need. So we've become kind of a go-to for housing needs in this community.
CHAMP stands for Campfire Housing Access Model Program. And so we are a landlord incentive program that are helping many people who've been impacted by the fire directly or indirectly get into long-term housing. That is our goal.
The volunteers right now are sorting the food that we got this morning from Trader Joe's and some food that I picked up at various food banks this week. Do you have a little package of meat? Yes. Hi, my name is Kathy Weeks. I've been working with food rescue for about the last 20 years. I firmly believe that things need to be redistributed, that no one in this country should go hungry.
This is our Veterans House. This is one of our newest programs under our Housing Now program. We felt that we needed to respond to the number of veterans in our community who are unhoused for different reasons. And this is our newest place. It's a wonderful house. Again, one of the great people in our community knew that we needed a house for veterans and stepped forward and rented this house to us. And we're so excited to have the veterans in here, These people have used their life to protect this country, and we're thrilled to be able to have Chat step up and help them in their lives.
My name is Joe Rogers. I'm a resident at the Chat's Veterans House. You know, for me, this place was a lifesaver when, you know, both financial and housing disaster hit at the same time.
Knock, knock. Hey, how are you today?
Great. How are you?
Good. It's kind of smoky, isn't it?
I know. It's flying around everywhere.
So I brought some clothes. I don't know if you'll want them, but they're size 10, 12.
Oh, that'd be perfect for the girls.
Awesome.
Hey, girls. Girls. Look at Amanda bought us some clothes. I think it'd be perfect.
So Hand Up Supportive Housing, or HUSH, is an intense case management program only for families. We surround them with services and resources. Oh, you did? Did you go get those badges? In the HUSH program, we focus on housing, finances, mental health, physical health, education. This is a temporary program, so we supply intermediate housing right away.
Here we are in Everhart Village. This is one of Chat's most exciting projects, I think, because it's so unique and special. This is a place where we'll be able to shelter about 20 people who are behavioral health clients. They have special needs, and they will actually have severe mental illness, and they're people who have been living without housing. And of course, for people that are unhoused and have mental illness, it's very difficult to really be able to stay on a treatment plan. People that are unhoused lose their phone. They don't have transportation. They tend to sleep during the day because of fear at night. So in order to be able to participate in treatment and to get help for their mental illness, they really need to have a place to stay where they can feel safe. And this is going to be so perfect because here at Everhart Village, they'll be surrounded by people who understand their situation. They'll have social interactions with other people. They'll be able to mutually support each other. And then we're right across from behavioral health offices. So we'll have behavioral health clinicians working with our clients who are staying here on a regular basis. So we hope to have lots of activities for people, both to help them with social development, life skills development, and their overall recovery.
I love living in this little house. I got this house through Bob and Leslie, a lot of people from Chat, and I greatly appreciate them. My house is beautiful. If you see it, it's olive green color. Nice little house. And I have a lot of space around here, and the windows are over here. And then over here, I planted some plants that were provided by the owner.
My name is Brandon Slater. I'm president of Slater & Son Construction here in Chico, and I'm actually a third generation owner of Slater & Son. We've traditionally just been commercial the last 30 years or so. This project, on the other hand, is kind of a little side pet project of mine. I kept hearing about how much it was to build a house and how much people were paying for rent. And I just kind of got this idea in my head that I wanted to see how inexpensive or how efficient I could be with the project. So in the commercial world, when I have a really tight budget and we're trying to make like an impossible budget work, we always start with cutting square footage. So the first thing we did was we spent a significant amount of effort just trying to get the smallest footprint possible. So we got to just a little over 300 square feet, but it's a full house. It's got everything. It's got a little front patio. It has room for a queen-size bed in the living room. It's got a full kitchen, full bathroom. It's even got a walk-in closet. So it's a fully functional house. It's just 300 square feet.
Welcome to Chat's new office. We are so excited and grateful to be on
the land of the Mechoopda, and literally in their office they've shared with us as we've grown in capacity, we need space for staff and residents to enjoy. So come on in, let me show you. Down here we have lots of housing support coordinators, which is what we call our case managers here. They all support residents. And then if we come this way, there's probably going to be a lot of bustle. We have some meetings starting. But one of the things we're super excited about is that we have this beautiful kitchen. There, Shrees can say hi. Hi.
In my year and a half, I came in and I hit the ground running because this is what I do as a passion. And everybody here has a passion to keep people housed, to help people. Like, we're not in it obviously for the money. We're in it to make sure that people stay housed and people stay off the streets.
This is a space that gets used by a lot of people. We're about to start our advisory council meeting.
We had a meeting on August 9th with the assistant chief probation officer to help people who are in the probation system find housing and opportunities through chat.
This is a map of Chico, and all the houses in blue are ones that Chat currently owns, and then all the ones in gold are the ones that we master lease. So we currently own multiple residents, and many of these houses are actually apartment complexes. So we're able to house over 274 people in the year 22. But this is a beautiful visual representation of how we disperse within the community. We're not one location. I think sometimes that is a misconception.
It is amazing what Chat has done. When you think about over the course of 10 years that they started out with one house, one person willing to rent them a house and rented it to 4 individuals, and now Chat owns almost 18 properties and is housing over 200 residents. I think that's life-changing. Think of all of those people that would have been on the street and are now housed within Chat, and it started with one house with 4 people. I really just think it's a testament to the willpower and the belief, and if we stick with this, we can do good.
You know, we're not the only people doing housing in California, but we really have a successful model. Our residents really do well, and we have a very high rate of stabilization. And I think it's the people that care so much. It's the way we wrap around right away. It's how we set up people to have their own spaces. Nobody shares a room. Everyone has a locked door. And I would hope that we can grow to the point where no one is in need that we could support.
This is huge! Compared to where I'm coming from to here, I cannot believe this is so awesome. It's so big! Yay! I can't believe it's already got a bed and everything.
Just have a good time overall. Going from no yard to having a yard.
Wow, just
Right, and you guys helped us learn that.
Bob, and you always preach that too.
I know I do.
Yeah? No, you too will?
Yeah.
Here for you.